The weird thing comes to it all, though, is the main thing that we noticed yesterday being there.
Well,
You already know.
so going into all this, I guess I don't think either of us fully understood what was going on. And I kind of always want to be with, I don't want to say who's right, but like doing what's right, And it seemed like if there's that many people protesting and not going to these games, because I've seen some other things, like it wasn't just us, it was all over the league last night. Clearly they must have a good reason. And then after today, looking into all of this, I'm not totally understanding with everyone's reasoning, because like we just said, like we were losing money playing in this competition, and we need to build the MLS. If, again, like, I don't want to drag on with relegation, but if we had relegation promotion, some of these teams over the last 20 years could have been able to build up these lower divisions, and then maybe the U.S. Open Cup would be in a different situation, but it's not. So I don't understand. I mean, you probably can you tell me why are they protesting? What is their reason?
The reasoning is a lot of it, and there was a decent amount of clubs. I actually have the list here. It was the Red Bulls. One of their supporter sections didn't show up yesterday. I mean, we saw that, but they were one of the ones that boycotted. One supporter section from St. Louis didn't show up. One from the Columbus Crew, Orlando City, Philadelphia Union. All three supporter sections of Minnesota United, no one showed up. Chicago Fire, one supporter section didn't. Austin, two supporter sections didn't show up. And Dallas. So there's a decent amount of
many people. So many real fans.
Well, you know what the irony of it all is, that, we have Garbers trying to make a better product, make it look nicer, make it more appealing. And then we have our supporters, across all those teams, and maybe even more. Those were just the ones I could find, saying, well, we're not going to show up. I guarantee you that MLS season pass stream at Red Bulls Arena yesterday against Toronto, it looked weird. There was nobody there. Last week, there was 20,000 people there.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there was like 3,000.
As there should be, by the way. As there should be.
Yes, 100%. Red Bulls are legit. So I do understand where they're coming from. And my heart goes out, because they do have valid point. I'm not going to support the Leagues Cup, but my main thing, and I wanted to bring this to you up all day, is this. We have a chance at winning $2 million. Any of these teams, not just the Red Bulls, any of the teams that are in the Leagues Cup. These teams have the chance to qualify for the Champions League, which is massive. You're talking club changing. There's people in Europe that probably watched the Columbus Crew play in CONCACAF.
Yeah, we're not talking $2 million. We're talking millions of dollars.
You're talking brand exposure like you've never even seen before.
Right.
And a chance to go to the Club World Cup, which is like, I mean, could you even imagine LAFC versus Barcelona? That'd be massive for the MLS. That'd be huge for the MLS. That'd be huge for LAFC. Why would a supporter section not want to support their team through that tournament? It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't understand.
You're upset that we withdrew from the Open Cup. Okay, so you're not going to support us trying to make a run at the Club World Cup. If you're mad, one thing I would say to supporters is, if you're mad, you're justified in why you're mad. 100%, I get it. But you're taking your anger almost seemingly out on your team. Look at us. Red Bulls were undefeated in 15. No one showed up to the game. We lost.
That's my problem, is at the end of the day, yes, you should stand up for what you feel is right and stand up for what you believe in. But if you say that you're a true fan and you're a true supporter of your club, you need to be there for your team. And especially, here with the way MLS stadiums and fans are, like, these supporter sections are the 12th man on the field. You are, all over the world, that's how it is. The fans are the 12th man. You get behind your team. They react to you. They play how, you make them play, how you make them feel. So to just say, nope, I'm not going to show up for my team tonight. If we lose, whatever, I'm going to watch from home. You could have been there to support your team no matter what. And we lost last night. And maybe if we had more people there, maybe our team would have rallied and won. I don't know that for sure. None of us know that for sure. But regardless, you need to be there for your team no matter what, especially if you say you're a real fan. In this country especially, we have so many people who say they're real fans and they're not. And last night, to me, showed that. There was a lot of people that showed up to that game. Not as many as it should. There was 5,000 people, and there should have been 15, 20,000 people. But the 800 people that we had in the supporter section at Red Bull Arena last night, those were real fans, because they said, listen, I don't agree with what's going on, but I need to be there for my team no matter what. And to see everyone that didn't show up, and I'm not going to name names, but you saw the certain people that you and I don't agree with that didn't show up last night. They're not real fans. Those people aren't real fans. They never have been real fans. And last night showed that.
And look, like you said, you can't go back and change anything. You can't fill the stadium with people, replay the game, and say, "Oh, look, we did win." That will never happen. But what I do know is this: we had the longest MLS streak, 15 home consecutive, undefeated. Ties are in there, but we haven't lost in 15 games. The first time supporters didn't show up, we lost in PKs. Now, anyone that's a real football fan would say, "Hey, maybe if we had, like you said, maybe if there was 2,000 people in the supporter section with the drums, with the smoke bombs, with the fireworks, maybe we sneak one of those chances we missed during open play. Maybe we sneak one by. Maybe we don't miss 2 penalties in the penalty shootout because everyone's going nuts, everyone's cheering." I can't say for certain, but the number doesn't lie. We went 15 unbeaten. All of a sudden, nobody shows up. We take an L.
No, you're absolutely right.
I don't think it's fair to take it out, like you said. It's not fair to take it out on the team just because the MLS commissioner wants to pull out of this cup. It's not fair to the players. They want to win that game. They don't give a shit if it's the Open Cup or if it's a ramen cup. If they're playing, they're winning.
Hell yeah.
So it is, like you said, it's almost like it's disappointing. Like, how could you do that to your team?
Yeah, no, that's where they lose me. It's like, I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about standing up for what you believe in, but you need to support your team. Those players have constantly said for the last couple of months, our manager has said that, we have great fans, we have a great atmosphere, it's hard to come play there against us. And then last night we gave them an easy path to penalties. It's sad.
And look at someone like Minnesota United, who's a relatively new club for those that don't follow the MLS. They're a relatively new club. I think they were what are those teams called when they're added to the
expansion clubs?
Yeah, they were an expansion club, and they've been pumping numbers. Like, they've had some really good numbers in the stands, and they've been a pretty mediocre team. Imagine 3 of their whole fan sections didn't even show up.
Yeah, when you said that, I specifically thought of them. They had a massive following the last couple of years, too. And I could not imagine how empty that stadium must have felt last night without their supporters. Yeah.
And it's like, if I was a player, I would be a little bit like, oh, well, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Like, this is a cup game. Now, it is, just for information's sake, complete list of teams. So Atlanta is in the Open Cup, Dallas, Houston, which is funny because the Dallas fans were one of the boycotts of the League's Cup. So what really are you boycotting? According to the US website, you're in the Open Cup. Houston, they won it, so they're in it. Los Angeles FC, Salt Lake, San Jose, Seattle, Sporting KC. Those teams are the ones that are going to be in the Open Cup. Good for them. I hope they make a run. Do work.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me at all because I'm a Red Bulls fan. Red Bulls aren't in it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But as a Red Bulls fan, I'm not going to say I don't care about this cup that my team is in that could potentially lead us to Champions League. That could lead us to a Club World Cup. That could give us legitimate silverware. There are teams all across the MLS like the Red Bulls. Not everyone could be NYCFC or Atlanta come in as an expansion team and just immediately win something.
You see players like Griezmann are saying, I want to, all these players the last couple of years, I want to go to the MLS at the end of my career. They choose those teams that have history, that have a chance of winning, that have a chance of having, a great season with a club, with a good supporter section. And going to the Club World Cup, that's very attractive to a player like Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah. Or Chucky Lozano. I'm sure that's super enticing.
Right.
And would it be enticing if they would say, "Oh, Antoine, by the way, you're going to have to play on a rec field like 8 times." He's going to be, dude, I literally won a World Cup. What are you talking about?
In front of 1,200 people.
Like, what are you talking about? I won a World Cup. Like, I'm not playing on a rec field.
Yeah. I mean... You're right. You're absolutely right.
The MLS is in that position where they're trying to bring in big name people. We're a young league, so we're trying to bring in big name people. We have to do things that are going to entice them. League's Cup is enticing. Like you said, I'm sure Griezmann would sit back and say, "Yeah, we make a run at the League's Cup, and all of a sudden I'm in the Club World Cup."
That's huge.
That's massive. Chucky Lozano, I could be in the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
All the people that went to Miami out of the senior citizen home, I could play in a Club World Cup.
Yeah, the good old senior citizen home.
Yeah, I gotta love it, senior citizen FC. So I don't necessarily want to take sides on the whole thing. I'm just supporting whatever my team does, no matter what cup they're in, no matter what. I'm going to support their team, as I believe all fans should do if you call yourself a fan. But in the same breath, I'm not totally against what the commissioner of the MLS is, what his sentiment is, what he's trying to do. He's trying to build a product.
Me too. Yeah, I cannot blame the direction. I cannot blame him for the direction that he wants to go here. It does suck that we're not playing in the Open Cup because that does have the sentimental value. But in the beginning, I compared it to the FA Cup, right? It's not like the FA Cup. Yeah, it's our version of it, but the FA Cup in England holds the highest prestige possible for domestic cups, and ours is nothing like that. It's not.
No, not at all. And staying on that point of trying to build a product, New York City FC versus Pachuca is a lot more enticing than NYCFC versus Motown, New Jersey of the 3rd division.
Yeah.
Pachuca is a worldwide brand. So you're going to have
Didn't they just win the Champions League last season?
Yeah. They're literally playing the Red Bulls on Tuesday in the League's Cup. And do you know what the sad thing is? There's going to be more people at that game than when we played Toronto, and it's going to be all Pachuca fans.
Yeah.
Do you think the Pachuca fans are going to say, "Whoa, the League's Cup is stupid. I want to watch the Open Cup"?
No, they want to see their team win.
Yeah. So you're talking about like what here? In one section, Austin FC is in a group with Pumas and Monterrey. Those are massive clubs.
Huge.
In Mexico. massive clubs. There's even some of these groups are. Club Tigres is in a group with Inter Miami. It's a massive Club America. Club America is in it. Cruz Azul is in it. These are huge brands.
Yeah, I mean, they said it says every single team from the MLS and Liga MX automatically qualifies. So I mean, these are the biggest teams in North America.
Going head to head. I mean, that's
every season.
How much bigger could you try to make a product than saying, hey, instead of playing a third division side, let's play the people that just won Liga MX.
Yeah.
Who's going to get more views? You're trying to build something. You're trying to become, expose your product to a new audience, to a growing audience.
That's what it comes down to, right? You're trying to build something. When we compare this to the FA Cup isn't being used to build English football. They don't need to build English football. The product generates millions and millions of dollars. When Spurs played that team from the 4th division a couple years ago, and they went and played at like the small ass stadium, that game still generated millions and millions of dollars, and it was a massive, revenue day for that small club. It was literally like, life-changing for the club, just that one game. Because even though they're playing the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, it's still going to generate millions of dollars because people love football and appreciate football there. And here, like I said before, we have so many real fans that are just so fair weather, and we're not playing Miami next weekend. We're playing the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I don't want to go to that game. And then they don't go, and then nobody wants to see that.
Sidebar, I would.
It goes full circle.
Riverhounds game.
Hell yeah, me too.
That's just, first of all, their name goated.
I mean, you and I go to local college games because we just love the sport. We love football. We don't just love the New York Red Bulls. We love Chelsea. We love Newcastle. We love, all these players from all over the world. We love the beautiful game. We don't just, I support this team, and that's all, that's all there is. No,
you literally drove an hour into Union to watch a player who I saw play at William Patterson play at Kane University against Rutgers.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was like, dude, me and you got to go watch this kid. He is really insanely
and
good.
It was worth it.
And we enjoyed a beautiful match.
It was great.
You're never seeing most of these fans do something like that. So it really just comes down to, I feel like we have fans that just, I really hate to say this, I almost feel like it's a very American sports thing to do.
It is.
Like, this is an American sports fan thing to do. I'm going to boycott. I'm going to not support my team because I don't like what some dude I've never met before said.
Yeah.
It is a very American thing to do. Instead of saying, wow, that really sucks, I'm kind of upset, but I'm still showing up to go watch the Columbus Crew.
Yeah. It is. You're absolutely right.
And it's sad.
You look at American football and look at the fans there. I'm going a little different direction here, but you ask a New York Giants fan, do you watch college football? And some of them, yeah, they do. But most of the time, no, they don't watch college football. I'm a New York Giants fan. I watch the Giants every Sunday. And that's the same thing as the MLS fans. It's like, okay, I watched the New York Red Bulls. I got no interest in that kid who played for Keene College. I don't care about that shit. I don't care about, you look at England and these people watch the championship. They go to the Sunday league games. They watch all the teams in the Premier League. They watch the FA Cup. It's so different. Our culture around sports here spoils how good this game could really be for our country.
And it's almost like people are boycotting just out of spite and nothing else. Because at the end of the day, going through all this stuff, spending a couple hours reading the breakdown, going through articles, doing, my diligence and reading up on this new cup, because it's fairly new, dude. I think, honestly, the first winner of the Leagues Cup was in 2019. That was the first time. So it's only been 5 years. And there was COVID in the middle of it. So they didn't even play 1 or 2 years. Let's see. It was canceled in 2020 because of COVID. 2022, they didn't have it either. So we've had 3 League Cup winners. It was Cruz Azul, Leon from Mexico, and Inter Miami.
I mean, but you said it's only been around for 3 years?
No, since 2019, but
5 years.
5 years, but they didn't have it twice. They didn't have it in 2020 because of obvious reasons, the end of the world, and they didn't have it in 2022.
So you have 3, you said 3 winners in 3 years?
Yes.
And in the U.S. Open Cup, how many people won the U.S. Open Cup ever? Didn't you say that before?
Well, I mean, dude, they've had the U.S. Open Cup every year since 1914, and there's been a winner every year.
I guess, yeah, so there's probably been a lot.
Yeah, but no, the point I was getting at with this is you're boycotting something that 25 years from now is still probably going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to, unfortunately, I understand the point that fans are trying to make. I don't think the commissioner is going to say, hey, I'm bailing out of this idea because people didn't show up to watch it. Because eventually, I would hate to say it, but maybe next year no MLS teams are in the Open Cup. Then what are you going to do?
Very possible.
Everyone's going to boycott the only domestic cup?
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous.
And the crazy thing is these people boycotting, I read through some of their posts and stuff. They didn't really come up with any solutions, something that they would say, for example, I was thinking about this while I was reading, and let me know what you think of this. What if you merged the two? What if you didn't have MLS teams? You know how in the Prem, in the FA Cup, Premier League teams don't play those initial rounds. We were talking about this. That's more for the lower level stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Man City doesn't play in the first start off rounds of the FA Cup.
Right.
They come in way later. What if they made it so the Open Cup was for the 4 divisions under the MLS, and maybe the top 4 teams, they get into the Leagues Cup?
Yeah.
You could merge the ideas, but the fan sections aren't even coming up. The people boycotting it, they're not even saying, hey, you know what? We're upset about this. Could we do this as a compromise?
No. Well,
and that would be something that's kind of enticing, because then it would still cause merit for the U.S. Open Cup, because our beloved Riverhounds, go Riverhounds. Riverhounds win the Open Cup. They don't have to worry about losing to LAFC, who's got Danny Bouanga and Olivier Giroud is coming in. Hugo Lloris is their goalie. They just had Gareth Bale.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Riverhounds aren't beating
Carlos
Gareth Bale.
Vela.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but now the Riverhounds can sit back and say, you know what? Without those teams, I have a chance. And then if I win, or I come in the top 4, I can go to the Leagues Cup, and I could play Club America, and now the Riverhounds are getting 100 times the revenue and exposure they've ever gotten in their entire lives.
Yeah, they definitely are.
There's wiggle room. I don't understand why the take has to be, we want this and not this. We're not willing to compromise as fans.